It is an important signal that the U.S. is dedicated to multilateralism and to bringing about global change, much like like fighting climate change, which is a high priority of the Biden administration. But this is not going to happen overnight, and I think even the Biden administration knows that and has signaled that. So the fact that President Biden was at this very important global climate summit was not lost on leaders from around the world, including the 5 African heads of state that were able to attend. But it's kind of going to come down to the commitments, and it's going to come down to money and how much money rich nations can provide for poorer nations, especially those in Africa that are trying to adapt and mitigate climate change.
Speaking about money, so President Biden did make a $3 billion commitment as part of the president's emergency plan for adaptation and resilience. What do you know about the breakdown of that amount as far as it relates to Africa?
Here's one thing I do know that's more important than anything about the breakdown. The president does not have the authority to spend money. Congress does.
Right.
The President of the United States has to ask Congress and work that out. We haven't seen any details of that at all. So once we see that, then we can maybe talk about how this affects Africa and who this affects, and whether that amount is even going to be $3 billion.
You mentioned the 5 African heads of state who attended COP. What was their message, and how strongly do you think they were able to articulate the concerns that they have around the impact of climate change on many African countries?
So 2 African leaders here stick out for me. They are Nigeria's Muhammadu Buhari and also the Democratic Republic of Congo's Felix Tshisekedi. And they did 2 different things. One thing that I think is really important that President Buhari stressed was that, as we know, Nigeria is a major oil producer, the major oil producer in Africa. And right now the trend is to go away from this traditional polluting sort of energy production towards greener energy. And he made the point in an article, I think in Newsweek, it was an editorial in Newsweek, he said, I can't do that unless I have help building that infrastructure. We can't just switch to solar when we have all of the infrastructure built for oil extraction, for petrol extraction. And this is a very important point because these are developing nations that still need to provide basic services to so many of their people. Why they haven't over the last 50 years is a matter for another day. But they still need to provide these services, and these are the means that they have. This is the infrastructure that they have that will enable them to do it. So the point that he made was it's not enough to just say, Nigeria, go green. The world has to assist Nigeria in going green, build that climate-friendly infrastructure, and allow Nigeria to then build its own clean energy sector. As for Congo, this was some interestingly I guess we could only say it's positive news. There was a large global deforestation pledge, and Congo, which is a heavily forested nation with amazing wildlife, amazing biodiversity, signed on to this pledge. So I think insofar as African countries are participating in this climate summit, they're saying, we're here, we're playing ball, but you have to help us do this in terms that make sense for our development and our people.